Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode here on the channel. Hope you're all having a great day. Today we head to a track that's no longer on the Cup Series schedule. Kentucky Speedway, fresh off of a wild ending in Sonoma where we saw Christopher Bell hang on to get his third win of the season, the most of anybody so far. We come into this weekend, however, with a big announcement, and that is that the Andretti team is going to be coming to the NASCAR Cup Series next season. We originally planned for this in the last version of the career mode before it, of course, got wiped from us, so it is happening again, but we also have the driver lineup announced. So Andretti Autosport is going to be taking over Spire Motorsports. Spire will be no more. Their drivers will be Corey LaJoie, who will stay with the program, and Carson Hocevar is making the jump up to the Cup Series. We've already got both schemes done and ready to go, and I can't wait for you guys to see. Actually, there's two schemes for Carson Hocevar. Latian made one, Sanok made one, and yeah, I'm excited for you guys to see what they bring for next season with the Andretti Autosport team now, as I think that's going to be the official final name, but we'll have to wait and see. We come through, though, into this Kentucky Speedway weekend now, and of course, mile and a half racing, kind of hit or miss for Colleague right now in this rookie season of our Cup Series career. I was expecting this one to be more on the miss side, though, however, because Kentucky's a pretty challenging mile and a half circuit in NASCAR Heat 5. But yeah, getting some laps under our belt here in practice, and overall, honestly, pretty happy with how the car drove. You got to be really careful here to not get out of the groove, though, because you can really hurt yourself. But you can see got a little bit slower as the run went on, of course, in the 5 laps of practice we did, as we would now focus in on qualifying, this being Saturday morning now. Night race, of course, here in Kentucky, but the goal on the top right of the screen there, 31.721, is what we are aiming for as we come through 1 and 2. You want to get pretty low there. Don't want to wash up like this out of turn 2. This might get a little bit ugly there, kind of getting into the outside wall. Not what we want to do. So that kind of hurt our lap, obviously, but we would still maintain a decent pace around the track to where we're going to cross the stripe here well off the goal with a 32.359 for the quickest state 400. It's P29. So obviously some forward ground to make up here now in these opening laps under the lights. Now, as you see the rest of the finishing or qualifying order, Todd Gilliland all the way at the back there. Look at that, Priest Briscoe, 2 of the SHR cars, 37th and 38th. Absolutely terrible there. Now, as you can see, rounding out the top 20, Kurt Busch in that 67, and Reddick there wrapping up the top 10. But on pole, Denny Hamlin, who is still looking for that first win of the season, just like Kyle Larson. Byron on the outside, front row here now, as we had trucks and Xfinity racing as well this weekend here. So we'll take a look at the truck series, who was in Eldora, where Parker Kligerman picked up his first win of the season. He's in the battle for the regular season championship, as you see the rest of the order there. The Xfinity series in town as well here in Road America, and we saw Sammy Smith pick up the victory there. So Joe Gibbs Racing pretty happy there with Sammy Smith, of course. Now, but that wraps it up. It's time to go racing under the lights from Kentucky Speedway.
Kentucky Speedway is back. Welcome, race fans, to Kentucky as the field is set to make that late push towards the playoffs. We just heard the news of Andretti Autosport joining NASCAR next year. This is huge news for the sport, guys.
It really is, Chris. A family with a huge legacy in racing now decides to join our sport. Next year will be big with that name joining us.
I don't know what's better, guys, old Harvick in the booth with us next year or this news, but I'm ready for Kentucky racing.
All right, boys, thanks for the hard work this weekend. Not the qualifying effort we wanted, but the pace is there. Let's see what happens.
Yep, get after it tonight. We're in the playoffs now, so let's keep it that way.
You hear it there. We're in the playoffs now. Let's keep it that way, says Stevie Speed. When we get to this part of the calendar, Kentucky area, it's kind of, to me, when the season starts to get real, you know, when you're pushing for that playoff position here. So now we're really hyper-focused on it. And like I said, we've been focused on it all season because we know how hard it is to make it in a 4-star car. If we were in a 5-star car, playoffs really wouldn't even have been a thought yet up until this point. But now we are even more focused than we were before on that final position in P16 as we're underway here from Kentucky Speedway under the lights now, as you got the 2 teammates there of Michael McDowell, Zane Smith up in front of us here side by side as we head down towards this first and opening corner now. Austin Dillon there lined up behind us in that Bass Pro Shops number 3 Chevrolet Camaro for Richard Childress Racing. Of course, he's been a bit off of what his teammate of Kyle Busch has been able to produce here. Now 2 wins on the season. One of them obviously pretty lucky for Kyle Busch when he won at Bristol on the fuel mileage, but obviously the one recently in Gateway just had the fastest car of anybody and was able to dominate that race and pick up the victory. There's Chris Tate, another race there for Three Friends Racing. That's 3 in a row. It will be their last for the majority of the season, but they will be back before the season is over here now. But they wanted to get a 3-race stretch under their belt as they do seek entering the sport potentially full-time next season, but more likely to be part-time, just on more races, of course, because they've only done 4 overall races this season. But here we are, lap 3 of 19 in stage 1 on this inside line, trying to move forward up the inside of Cinder. We had a run-in, of course, with him on the final lap in the last episode there. On the final lap in Sonoma, it was just so crazy. We saw the contact between the two in the 20, and then that brought us back into the mix, and then the 2 washed over into us through the S's, wrecked himself, and that shot me wide over the curbing that spun me around. It was truly a heck of a race here now. But here we are, having the 23 of Bubba Wallace go around my outside. Kevin Harvick currently out in front in that number 4 car, looking pretty strong early on now. Harvick hasn't been a huge threat this season. He's well inside the playoffs, was looking so good at Martinsville, but he ended up leading, 99 1/4 of the 100 laps in that race, and then lost to Chase Elliott on the final lap while he was battling lap traffic, and hasn't been a threat to win anything since then. We are continuing to battle with traffic there, going past my teammate of Justin Haley, but then there goes the 14 of Chase Briscoe. So, of course, up from where we started, which was the expectation based off the pace in practice and the goal, of course, but the pace still isn't quite where we need it to be. It's a run like this that's not going to do us any favors in the playoff bubble situation right now. Austin Dillon gets past us, but then I go and pass the 6 of Keselowski. Still have to be aware of potential surprise winners. Keep in mind, Michael McDowell has won a race this season. Look back at the road course at Mid-Ohio. At the time of that happening, it felt a little bit far-fetched. Obviously, not anymore. And if you guys watched the race there on Sunday, McDowell picking up the win, of course, in the Brickyard. What a victory there at the road course for him. But as a Suarez fan, some pain as well, as we are now under attack from our teammate of Haley again. Up the inside of Keselowski, 3 wide in the middle, actually, as we head to the stripe. Ryan Preece into the mix. You think about him, you thought about Briscoe. They both started in the low 30s. They were terrible, or the high 30s, I should say. And they have both moved now past myself, as Briscoe's been on the move, and there goes the 41 of Ryan Preece. So down to 25th. Right now, only a net gain of 4 spots since the start of this race. Not what I really anticipated after we had moved up to about 22nd earlier on, but passing again Keselowski, going up the inside of the 31. It kind of just felt like a back and forth chess match at this point here with these guys now. As we come through up the inside into 3, we'll once again repass Haley, take over P23 as Harvick continues to lead, and it looks like he's running away with the stage victory here from Kentucky Speedway now, as we continue to try and close back in on the 3 of Austin Dillon, who's running all the way up on the outside, which does no drivers any favors whatsoever, but they do like to run up there just for the heck of it because they can. They think it looks cool, I guess, I don't know. But up the inside of the 3 on the final lap of stage number 1, Harvick's already at a turn 4 down the front straightaway. Kevin Harvick will win this first and opening stage from Kentucky, looking like he's going to be a strong threat here all night long based off of the early stage pace here now, as we're going to have one last shot, but not enough at the number 3 of Austin Dillon through 3. The caution's going to fly there as 10th place crosses the stripe to end this stage. So, overall, not too disappointed with the car, but definitely some work to do, as we're going to come in and get 4 tires on the car and look for a slight adjustment as well.
We're going to tighten it up a bit for you.
You hear it there, so they are going to tighten it up a little bit for us. Now you'll see that take place right here. So adding some tape as well, but up 3 clicks on the wedge from a 50.0 to a 50.3 now. Everybody still in the race there. Logano loses 14 positions in the pit, so he goes from running in towards the top 10 to now outside of the top 20 as we're back underway here from Kentucky Speedway. Austin Dillon clear at the line, 17 laps, so a couple laps less here compared to that first and opening stage as we head down towards this first corner. Harvick out in front, but the question is for how long now? As we saw in stage 1, of course, it took Harvick a little bit of time to get himself out in front, so you have to wonder if the short run speed is maybe not quite in that 4 car, but we'll have to wait and see and how this second stage really shapes up. But Harvick, if you can see up ahead enough, he went up to the outside, so not what you want to be doing, of course, if you want to maintain the lead. That's Kyle Busch on the inside of him, Larson Blaney side by side behind them both for 3rd place as we continue on the outside ourselves. We don't want to be up here, but you see myself forcing the issue anyways to the outside of the Shell Pennzoil Ford Mustang of Logano and his teammate of Austin Cindric nearly into the outside wall, so we have to back out of it, and there goes any bit of momentum we had mad. Chandler Smith goes around us instead. Obviously, running with him in the last episode, everybody was mad in Sonoma, so it didn't even matter what we did at the end of the day. Everybody was mad at somebody. Look at this, Bubba Wallace now to the lead, though. We saw him start around us earlier, car on the wall. In turn 3, that's Kurt Busch in the 67, and what started a good season is, I'm going to hit the back of the 48, and that's going to ruin our next restart because of the Heat 5 glitch, but Kurt Busch, what started a good season has gotten worse and worse, and that is going to end his night. Day over, race over for that number 67 Monster Energy Toyota Camry of Kurt Busch now in his quest to make the playoffs, and his send-off season is getting, of course, a lot more difficult in these recent episodes. Now, I don't know what's caused the sudden lack of performance out of that 67, but it is pretty evident here now as we're going to get back underway. And watch this. Yep, the car, it's just not going to go off the restart. As you guys know, maybe if you're new to the series, NASCAR Heat 5 has a bug since the game launched back in 2020 that if your car runs into the back of another car, basically after a caution comes out, so your AI is totally in control, it will basically do exactly what you just saw. It gives your car significantly less speed for the restart. Why it happens, don't know, and it was never addressed even when the game was being, actively updated, when it was the active NASCAR game back in the day there in 2020. But we have some work to do, pushing to go back forwards. Bubba Wallace still out in front. Does he have the fastest car? I say that, but now Kevin Harvick goes back to the point here in that number 4. So Harvick back out in front past the halfway point here in stage number 2. Now, as you can see myself in this little tussle for 27th place with Corey LaJoie in that Celsius machine, fresh off the news, of course, that he will be staying technically in that car just for a new team branding, of course, as the Andretti family is coming over to take over that Spire race team now, as they almost did the Justin Marks, basically, where Trackhouse, of course, started as their own thing in 2021, and then they went and purchased Chip Ganassi Racing, and were able to take over everything going into 2022. And the rest is certainly history, as Trackhouse has, in my opinion, become the staple team of the future of leadership and just kind of creativity and thinking outside of the box and just how to do things in the sport of NASCAR now as we continue on, certainly, you can probably tell by now, Trackhouse is my favorite team, of course, now. But we continue battling on the final lap of Stage 2 with my teammate of Chandler Smith. Harvick, again, just like Stage 1. Once he took the lead back, he has not looked back, and he is going to continue to lead the way through 3 out of Turn 4, clearing the 13 we are. But Harvick will sweep the first 2 opening stages, but the caution is actually going to fly before Harvick ever got to the line there. So, not sure exactly what caused that, but nonetheless, that will end Stage 2 about 10 seconds early. Everybody's going to come into the pit lane here. Not really looking for many adjustments overall. I felt the car was driving fine. Overall, though, the pace, it's pretty evident, isn't quite there currently in this Nutrient Solutions car. So yeah, it's going to be difficult, but you see no adjustments going on to the cars. We're going to get ready to go back green flag racing here from this Kentucky Speedway here. Now is the 3rd and final stage already set to get underway. We gain 1 spot there in the pit lane over the 6 of Brad Keselowski. We're going to get back underway here and get back racing behind that 36 of Zane Smith here. Now you see in the top left, we're going to have 25 laps to go here. Ryan Blaney able to get to lead out of the pit lane. So Harvick definitely maybe 2 areas that 4 car is struggling in. The pit lane as well as the short run. So I don't expect that Harvick will be in the lead very quickly here now. But you know what? He could prove me wrong. We'll have to wait and see as we head down into turn 3. Up the inside of the Ally Financial Chevrolet of Alex Bowman, one of the bubble drivers, of course, in the playoff situation. So many drivers close together. Kurt Busch with the DNF, probably going to be out of the playoffs, of course. But Bowman, we're in the same area as him. You look at Justin Haley, of course. We are very similar on points. And Truex has been making a comeback, it seems like. And knock on wood. I am literally knocking on wood for you Truex fans right now. I don't know if you heard it. But it seems like that bad luck has gotten, it's been gotten rid of, and he is able to have some consistency now. We know Tyler Reddick is clawing his way up the order in the standings. Maybe not tonight. You see him running 17th right there in the 45, now 18th. Ty Gibbs, another one who's been running really strong. So 3 names right there that I just listed that are moving their way up week after week. So we are going to have to pay close attention. And we're going to take a deep dive or closer look to the playoff grid at the end of this episode to see what the situation really is. Up front, good friends Blaney and Bubba Wallace were continuing to fight it out for the lead of this race. Bubba Wallace is another one who's been continuing to improve as well, as I was 3 wide down into turn 1 with Bowman and Priest. We let the 48 go. I didn't want to be 3 wide in the middle in the corner, so I just kind of got to the inside in behind the 48 now, as you can see. Here comes Daniel Suarez as well. Not been a great night, not been a great couple races recently for the freeway insurance driver, and he's going to go up my inside and clear me as well in through turn number 1. You see up ahead, Logano is side by side with Truex Chastain in the mix as well. Ross Chastain, interesting enough, similar to real life actually. Chastain really hot for the first almost half the season. Kind of calming down now. We haven't seen much out of that one car recently. Of course, he has won, let's not forget, 2 races this season, so it's not like Ross is in trouble and having a bad season. Here we go, though. Now, passing the 99 of Suarez back. So back into the top 20 we go with 18 laps remaining. No green flag pit stops are going to be necessary because I forgot after the road course to put it back on 3X. Feel and wear. Crash in the background. The 21 of Harrison Burton is gone around. It looks like a tire went. A big hit there on the front end that sends him up and over. After Gilliland nailed him on the front wheel. The caution obviously flies. I will, of course, get a change to 3X and feel and wear for the next episode, depending on where we are. We might actually be going to a road course. It might be Road America in the next episode, which would be, by the way, as we get ready to go back racing, Road America is the equivalent of the Chicago Street Course in terms of the placement on the calendar. So, in Road America, you're going to see a Shane Van Gisbergen. It's probably not going to be the same paint scheme, but there will at least be hopefully something there. Well, actually, that's really it. Shane Van Gisbergen will be there. When we get to the Indy Road Course, I'm going to try and, of course, get Broda Kostecki as well as Kamui Kobayashi, etc., and see what we can do and add to this roster now. But like I said, Shane Van Gisbergen will be here for Trackhouse in the 91, just probably a different paint scheme, maybe a bit more basic. We'll have to wait and see. So stay tuned, because I think it'd be fun to get other international drivers in that car going forward, but I don't want to have to whip up or get whipped up a new paint scheme for them every time. So there might just be like a set Project 91 paint scheme and sponsor that everybody's going to be running. So anyways, stay tuned. We'll see what Shane Van Gisbergen can do behind the wheel. Now, as I still don't understand how the commentators have a tough time with that name. It's just Van Gisbergen. I don't understand how that's supposed to be difficult to say. Nonetheless, 3 wide here. Keselowski passing us on the inside. Tate on the outside, 22nd place. Currently now the 48 into the outside wall. Alex Bowman, a bubble driver, is going to potentially be out for the night here with 11 laps to go as a caution flies, and this will force a restart with under 10 laps remaining in this race. Very unfortunate for the 48 as well, of course. You see Ryan Blaney, Bell, Busch, Harvick is down to 4th. Not looking very promising for him. Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson, they're just behind in 5th and 6th. Stenhouse up to 10th, of course. He's still fresh off that injury there. Only been back for a few races at this point now as we continue on. And we are going to get ready to go racing again here behind that 45 of Tyler Reddick. Now the green flag, it's back out. We are racing here again in Kentucky. It's only going to be 7 laps of racing now as we head down towards this first turn. Can Ryan Blaney hang on to the victory? Can Harvick fight back and say, hey, hold on a second, I've won the first 2 stages, I'm going to go and sweep this thing and win the race as well. It's going to take some hard work, of course, starting in row number 2 on the outside. That 4 of Harvick is, so obviously a lot of work to do in his final appearance at this Kentucky Speedway as we go down into turn 3, looking up the inside of that Monster Energy machine of Ty Gibbs, of course, Rookie of the Year contender against myself. We're right on his door there, side drafting him even as we head down through this tri-oval, now jumping back down to the yellow line there, right to the inside we go. We got Chris Tate there for 3 Friends Racing just behind us, but continuing to battle up the inside of this 54 as we come through 1 and 2. Look how close quarters racing it has turned into very quickly here in Kentucky. And you see Gibbs gets clear down the back straightaway now, but the battle wasn't over because, fortunately for me, he's going to run up on the outside. Up ahead, Bubba Wallace, the leader, to the outside, and Harvick was one of the drivers on the inside, so hold on. It's not over yet for Kevin Harvick. In just a few laps to go, we get clear of the 54 out of turn 2 down the backstretch, but Kevin Harvick would get back to the lead with 3 laps to go here in Kentucky now. He's just hoping for no caution because once Harvick gets to the lead with the clean air, good luck beating that number 4 car here. Sure enough, white flag in the air for Kevin Harvick here. P17, we are across the stripe. Honestly, a pretty decent improvement throughout the whole night. Can we hold on to it though? Because Gibbs right on our rear bumper as we head down into turn number 1. This could be a big moment here for Kevin Harvick as we exit turn 2 down the back straightaway into turn 3. You never know. This could be the final win of his career as Harvick is going to exit turn 4 down the front straightaway. It is going to be all Kevin Harvick winning in Kentucky.
Yeah, boys, great job. Great job.
You hear the radio. We slid up the track on the exit of 4 though, and there goes Ty Gibbs, who's going to come through to get us at the line, so it's going to still be a top 20 nonetheless, P18, but Harvick pretty happy over the radio there to get the victory. Denny Hamlin looking for that first win, misses it by about 1/10 of a second. Larson in the top 5 as well. Overall, like I said, a pretty decent night in terms of our finishing position, considering where we were for a lot of the race. You can see Kurt Busch there in P40 as well with that DNF. So very, very unfortunate for him now as we continue to look at the rest of the playoff grids for trucks, and we'll check out Xfinity. Look at Zane Smith. He's currently 9th, but he's actually battling for the regular season title. But Chase Purdy at the top, of course, with the 4 wins. Xfinity side, Hill and Custer at the top of the board, and you can see the rest of the order. Josh Berry, Herbst, and Vargas, the 3 currently in on points. And of course, they still have a lot of racing until the playoffs start in the Xfinity Series. The Cup Series side of things, less than 10 races. It is, in fact, Road America in the next episode. So Shane Van Gisbergen, the question is, what can he do for Project 91? You see the order here. Truex is only 2 points out, and it's me that he's only 2 points behind. Haley back by 21. Gibbs continues to close. He's back by 21. Reddick only 27. Bowman 28 with the DNF. Kurt Busch even further back after that one. Wow, this is going to be a heck of a bubble, battle. We still have a lot of racing till the playoffs start. That's going to wrap it up for me, though. I'll see you guys in the next one at Road America. That will be an exciting one. Have a great day, everybody.